and welcome to the NewsX Sunday Guardian Roundtable. Today we're taking a look at the Congress, not just the Bharat Jodo Yatra, which seems to be gaining some steam, but also the social media and the media outreach of the Congress party. Has the Congress party finally got its act together? Are they now communicating with Jairam Ramesh as the head of the communications department? There has been a sea change in the way the party is interacting, not just with the media, but also with the public at large. They're not being defensive for once. They're being aggressive. Fake news is being called out. Court notices are being threatened. Connected information, the real information is being also put out by the Congress camp, by others who want to disseminate false information. So it is a very in-your-face aggressive strategy, especially, also anecdotes and tidbits from Rahul's yatra are coming out, which is very interesting because if you notice, the mainstream media is not focusing so much of it, and neither can it go into the minutiae of every, little anecdote and incident that happens on Rahul's yatra. Because at the end of the day, this yatra is more about Rahul than the Congress. It's about Rahul getting his act together. Until he does, the focus will be that much limited. So it's from the social media, we get the cute incidents. We get that Instagram reel of, Rahul Gandhi catching hold of 75-year-old Siddaramaia's hand and doing a slow jog with him while he's running. Literally shows what he may try and do with the old geriatric Congress party also. Anecdotes of him interacting with kids, with people, public, joking with his Congress colleagues. Sides of Rahul we haven't seen before. Candid moments are now being very carefully curated, choreographed, and put out for all of us. And they are being lapped up if you see the hits. So is the Congress media cell, media strategy finally working to help its leader instead of working against him? That's something we're going to be discussing with people who know the media, who know the Congress, and are really have an inside view on what's happening. Joining me on the panel is Dilip Cheran, an image guru and political commentator. We have Tehseen Poonawala. He's a lawyer and a Congress supporter and a commentator. And we have Sandeep Ghosh, political commentator and columnist, and Kaveri Bamzai, former editor, author, and political columnist. Tehseen, tell us what's happening in the Congress, the sea change with Jairam Ramesh taking over. Has there been I think there's been a calculated thinking that, the Congress needs to do more. And what is the response so far? What do you see?
So Priya, first of all, thank you. Thank you for having me on the show, and hi to all my fellow panelists. Yes, there has been a sea change. Jairam, of course, is heading that. There's also Pawan and Supriya who are doing a fantastic job. And I think it's the sea change that is now being celebrated is something that should have happened all along. It's just basic. When fake news is put out, to respond to it. Let me give you one very straight example. So, and I've shared this with PG. So there was this one time they put out a fake news on Robert. And this was in April. I was still not, I'm talking pre-elections. I remember this was a Sunday morning. This was the day Ravi Shankar Prasad did the press conference. It was one of those days. The Congress reacted that day in the night when an IPL match was going on. By then, the narrative was, everything is there. The evidences are there, right? That is how slow the Congress was. And here, and it was completely fake. The story was such a lie, but for the Congress to react was in the night when IPL was going on, and it was a thriller match. Can you imagine who would have picked it up? And it was a press release, a boring press release. So Dilip is here, Sandeep is here. That doesn't work. Social media has to be instant, and social media has to be crisp. You don't have time to give a big lecture because this generation needs quick. It has to be punches. Bam, bam, bam. This is the fact. This is how it is. And this is it. And you got to be assertive. I think as long as you're short, crisp, assertive, and truthful, because credibility is also important. One more thing's added. The BJP social media has lost its credibility with some of the lies they spread and some of the fake news that they spread or the splice news. So if you're short, crisp, assertive, aggressive, and over a long term honest, I think people lap that up.
Fair enough. And actually, thank you, Tehseen, for, bringing in Pawan Khera and Supriya Srinathar, because Pawan's interactions and, he's very good at, countering some of the BJP leaders and spokesmen on TV, as well as, he's been handling Sheila Dikshit's policy, political cell. So he's been very good with that. So Dilip, your first reaction at the change that you notice in the Congress media strategy?
I think, and hi all, there is a huge change, and the change always begins at the top. I think the monkey in the room, orangutan in the room is we are not discussing who used to head the media cell before. Meaning, the idea is that you want a media cell that wants to communicate about the leader, not pontificate about themselves. That's rule one. So make sure that the person in charge of the media cell doesn't want to be the person projecting themselves. That's the first change that is very visible. Two, select talented deputies who are also feisty. And I think that way Jairam has chosen well. Three, respond with speed, what Tehseen said. Four, quality of content and the kind of content to counter which kind of content. But all of that can only happen if content itself is provided. I don't think that Jairam could have wished for a scenario where you have a presidential election and a president unannounced jogging the streets. So the content availability for the Congress has, immensely increased. I think these things are what's helping. The other factor is that Modi and his team and his social media are currently very heavily and efficiently focused on the elections, the state elections. So you have them taking their eye off what I call the generic Pappu attack and the party attack that happens on the Congress all the time. I think these are the factors we need to start thinking as to whether that's making a difference on both sides.
To give Rahul his due and some credit also, I think is there. At least he's giving them some content. But Sandeep, the mainstream media is yet to take notice. Is it because it's not, the narrative is not really a national one? It is more Rahul's yet again doing another discovery. We don't know how long he'll keep at it, etc., etc. Or is there more to it?
See, I don't know. I'm sure Tehseen and others would say that, mainstream media has been asked not to report, or they've been asked to stay away. I wouldn't want to get into that, but let's start from where you said, or what Dilip and Tehseen said earlier. There is no denying that, Congress was way, way behind in the communication game. As you know, as all of us know, that in 2014, Rahul Gandhi didn't even have a Twitter account. And so they were not doing so. And then even more recently, if you recall, Prashant Kishore's own statement, he says, the beginning has to be from the people. And so you've got a communication head, without naming whosoever Dilip is referring to, a monkey or an orangutan, that person needs to go without that. So all that was known, and what has happened. While Tehseen might think that the BJP communications team has lost its way, I think it's early days to say that BJP has always been ahead of the curve. So to that extent, Congress is still playing a catch-up game. So, but it's good that it's finally doing so. Say, for example, the initiative of Jairam Ramesh for asking people to join the yatra on digitally on the phone, or putting up these big screens in different places. So that shows clearly a lot of thinking and a lot of inputs from people like Dilip who understand communications. All that's good. But I would be also wary of taking the social media. Social media I specifically mean Twitter, Facebook, rather than WhatsApp. Another thing, which is, to my mind, far more effective and got far greater reach and penetration. Twitter is our own echo chamber. So all of us like to banter, go at each other. Now, again, on Twitter, as you mentioned, things are being curated very well. I don't want to get into whether those photo ops are being created or being done, but there is also, we know how many cameras are following and I'm not criticizing that. That's a good thing that they have got so many cameras going. I hear a lot of journalists have been asked to tweet, and this is from very reliable sources. I know journalists have been given a brief to tweet, and I won't get into what's the quid pro quo. So those
Not
are
unlike the BJP then, huh?
no. I don't know what BJP does, or there are. I'm not getting into any value judgment here. You're in the game, and whatever is fair, you'll do. But to get carried away with what is happening only on Twitter would be a little dangerous. But the biggest point is, coming from a marketing guy who's handled physically, launched products, etc. I can do a great launch conference and may even have a great product to sell. But if I do not have, say, a distribution network, I can go and create a great buzz in holding a launch conference in Lucknow, in a five-star hotel, or in Bangalore or wherever. Then I come away and there is no distributor network. I don't have any dealers to go and sell my stuff. And my competition has gone and already pumped those dealers, whosoever is there, with their stocks or given them certain schemes to do. So then how do you follow that through? So that is going to be the challenge after all this thing, even assuming that the whole momentum is maintained. On a positive side, as you said, as far as Rahul Gandhi is concerned, I think the biggest difference he is making, he's showing seriousness and a commitment. He's showing that he's able to go take this hard trawl, and he's going in. So, which are positives, which is some people, whether it's in the media or whether the public, have been wanting him to do that. Even the quote unquote, the comment we used to always have that he's not a serious politician.
He's showing that. Okay. I'm going to cut you and bring in Kaveri also before we, go in for a break.
Go ahead.
I'll come to you. You want to make a short intervention because I want to get Kaveri in.
No, just on one point that Sandeep said, I completely agree with him that the dealership is completely monopolized by the BJP. Therefore, I think what Bharat Jodo does is eliminates the dealership, goes to the manufacturers, going directly to the customer, in his words. So A to C, and you eliminate the B from in between completely. So I think that's a great model.
Okay.
Yeah, direct benefit
I'll
transfer.
come back on that.
We'll argue on that after the break.
Okay, let's get Kaveri in also. Kaveri, in defense of Surjewala, who's I think also been maligned, the fact is that he hasn't, early on, he never had the content, and the fact that the press release took so long to come is, I don't think he was given the okay from 10 Janpath as to what to say, because the Gandhis and by extension Robert Vadra is taken as someone when no one can comment on unless they've been given a direction. So in that sense, is the attitude of the Gandhis also changing? And Jairam Ramesh is an old hand. He's a veteran. He doesn't need to cross-check everything with Rahul as maybe Surjewala may have had to.
Yeah.
So there's a sea change all around.
But Priya, I think one of the problems is we've talked about launches. I mean, how many times are we going to launch Rahul Gandhi, right? We've seen him as angry young man. We've seen him as ambassador of love. We now see him as Lal Singh Chadda, frankly. That's what he's doing, running through the country like Lal Singh Chadda with that beard as well. But the point is, what is he selling? And I think that is the important thing. The message is, Berozgari, Mehengai, and Nafrat ke khilaf, right? That's the message of the Bharat Jodo Yatra. I think that is deeply flawed. India is now a very aspirational country. We know that. We don't want a negative message. We want to know, okay, you stand against these three things, but what do you stand for? Yes, you stand for Bharat Jodo, but what exactly does Bharat Jodo mean? You have to tell us that. And you are asking for answers from the government. You say, har jawab milne tak, you will walk, right? Now, you are asking for answers from a government which you have always declared is deaf to, every man and every woman. And you are the grandest, oldest party in this country. It's your job to give us solutions. It's your job to give us answers. It's not your job to ask for answers from a government which you have already declared deaf and dead, right? So I think those are very significant and important things. What do you stand for? We know what you stand against. We stand against that too. But what are the options that you're giving us? You cannot give us an option of a Lal Singh Chadda who's running through this country and trying to join it. Yes, okay. But beyond that, when he talks governance, he still talks about Manrega, he still talks about Nyay. Those are concepts from 2004, 2019. This is 2022, 2022, we are going to be in 2024 when the general election happens. What are you going to tell us that's new? What you're going to give us that will tell us, okay, let's vote for you, right? What you're going to tell us that's going to convince us that other parties will join you? Because we know that the Congress itself cannot run the government, no matter how well Rahul runs through this Padyatra. So I think these are very, very important things. And whether it is Surjewala or Jairam Ramesh is an old hand. He coined the Aam Aadmi before the Aam Aadmi became a party. So these are the things that I think people like him have to think about. What do you stand for? Tell us. We want to know.
Tessim, you wanted to come in?
Yeah, so a couple of things. I'll just clarify before I come to Kaveri's point. Sandeep, I don't think the BJP has lost its way. It would be naive for me, and I never said that in this thing. I just think that there is a fatigue that's come in with the BJP narrative, which is very Hindu-Muslim, which is very everything that the Honorable Prime Minister does is superb and nothing else matters. So I think there is a certain amount of fatigue with the messaging that has started to set in. Again, I'm not saying it's completely set in, but there is a fatigue that's set in. Number two, I agree with you. Twitter is not India. Twitter and Instagram is a very small, minuscule part of India, but it's an important part, especially Twitter, because you see the important voices are on Twitter, and that's where the narrative is set. So you cannot ignore Twitter. While I completely concede to the point it's not India. Bharat Jodo is a visual delight. Priya, why are you guys in the media interested in Bharat Jodo, even if mainstream media is not covering? And there is a mainstream media bias not towards Congress, but towards South India. Let's be honest about it. So why is there a bias? Why is there an interest in it? Because it's a visual delight. Look, you're up at 6:30 in the morning when other political parties are sleeping. There is movement, there is action happening, there's laughing, there's Rahul jogging, Siddaramaiah jogging, whatever. There is action happening. It's great for social media. It sets it up. That's not happening at other places, 6:37. So there's a lot of content to tweet, Instagram, which creates a narrative which will get built up when it comes towards northern India, Madhya Pradesh onwards. When it comes, it will create that narrative, Maharashtra, Madhya Pradesh onwards. So that will pick up. Local media and local electronic media is covering it extremely well. What does it then stand for, and what is the larger messaging? You see, I agree with Kaveri that we'll have to get into specifics, but 2022 is too soon. The specifics will come on economy, on healthcare, on other things as this builds up. Right now, look, when you talk to anybody, they're saying opposition kahan hai? That narrative that Rahul is durable, he can walk, he has stamina, he's here to stay, he's here to be committed. That is now being built. There is an opposition.
The focus now, Rahul has shown that he can show up. The basics what all politicians take for granted. Rahul has to prove that I am there at least.
That's unfair to him. That's unfair to him. But yeah,
but that's a lot of people are saying, will he stay or not? The fact that he's staying is a big mark in his favor. Tessim.
Sure, but that's an unfair thing to him. Sorry.
Okay.
So sorry.
Okay.
I think that to Kaveri's point about show me your program, I would say it is wise and necessary for any communication plan not to show any program for the moment.
Yeah.
When it would be playing into somebody else's hand if you were to show your program. Selling your program today takes 1/3 of the time that it took 5 years ago. I'm just giving you a rough estimate. So you will get trounced on WhatsApp University and a whole range of other things. And secondly, unlike at any other political time, don't forget that you have the best communicator in the business as your principal opposition if you are the Congress. Narendra Modi will take whatever plan you have and make it better. So that is a risk that every political party faces. A few, like, for example, Akhilesh Yadav, think that they can be abroad and come at the last 6 months and win an election. That's not possible anymore. Consistency, hitting the ground, raising some dirt, and asking questions of the government is what is the appropriate opposition communication framework when you have a government which is already 8 years plus in position. So I think communications needs to take all these realities on the ground into account rather than work on what the public is asking for. The public may ask for your plan at the moment, but is this the right time to reveal that plan is the question that the party and its agents need to figure out.
You and Tessim agree on that. Sandeep,
Yes.
you wanted to counter on a lot of things.
No, I don't want to take more of your time before you have to cut me out. I'll just say two things. I agree with more or less everything says, and whatever Testin says, I'm willing to grant it to him. Except what I was trying to tell him then. If Rahul Gandhi is able to do the direct communication, great. That's precisely what Modi had done with the social media strategy. Just jumped over the media and other people who were not supportive to him and reached directly to the consumer, as you might say. But when you're talking of dealership, you're not talking of communication. Dealership is physical delivery. It requires a structure on the ground, organization on the ground, who will take the product to the last mile and get. In this particular case, it is getting the consumer to the voting booth. Okay, that's where BJP has a huge head start. If Congress is getting it, it's fine. As far as the messaging, I also won't quibble too much because these messaging thing, what is right, what is wrong, can be debated later on, because sometimes these things work better in hindsight than when you're trying to analyze the messaging towards the front. But coming back to Twitter, while all these things are granted, I don't quite agree with Priya a lot of the stuff which Congress is doing on Twitter. Okay, one is, as Shekhar Gupta himself said, Congress has outdone BJP on its IT trolls. Their trolls are today far more vicious than what the BJP trolls, quote unquote, were. Secondly, you pick on things like a Vande Bharat Express, front getting done and trying to discount the country. Do they know how many railway employees are there who would be totally pissed off with Congress for that? Forget other passengers. This gentleman talks about, escape velocity of Jupiter, but he doesn't know what a bird hit can do to an aircraft, and forget a buffalo hit on a high-speed train. So when you get into that, when Modi had this thing in Punjab, taking pot shots at him, or overdoing this rain dance bit, from all angles, and that is fine. You do it as far as your guy is concerned. Then you show somebody else carrying an umbrella, and therefore, what is the difference between him? These are, getting into, I think, very immature. I wouldn't call it cheap. And with that, if they feel that, that's going to work, I wish them best of luck. Last short point. Yeah, I would like Mr. Rahul Gandhi to remember his father's own comment in 1989, where he said, crowds don't mean votes. People can come to watch the tamasha if Amitabh Bachchan or Rajnikant go on a road trip, but it may not get them the votes. That's it.
Kaveri, your final take on, it is getting vicious with both sides, now getting very active and this thing. But how will this help? Is this helping Rahul, at least the media attention?
I don't know whether it's helping Rahul. I'm more concerned about the Congress party. I think it doesn't really matter who runs it. The fact that it should be run properly is what matters. And I think this is an age of WhatsApp videos. People are getting most of their news from WhatsApp, not Twitter, not Facebook. Most studies have proven it. And if your videos go viral on WhatsApp, if you have enough forwards, that's the kind of momentum that builds up. The BJP has cracked that. And unfortunately, they've understood that on WhatsApp, negativity and fear works better. And although we may be aspirational, we tend to consume what is negative better. And I think that, I'm not saying that the Congress should go negative, but I think the packaging of those videos, the packaging of outtakes and takes from Bharat Jodo is what they have to work on. 1 minute they have him, being compared to Mahatma Gandhi. 1 minute they have him in this rain dance, as Sandeep says. 1 minute they have people reciting Agnipat. Another minute they have, Kar Har Maidan Fateh playing. Yet another minute they have the Bharat Jodo song playing. There has to be a little bit of consistency, I think, in what the messaging is. At least the song should stay the same, or the kind of visuals you're sending out should stay the same. If you're wanting to compare Rahul with Narendra Modi, then at least that idea should stay the same. And you should be able to package videos and news according to the platform that you want to send it on. If you want to send it on WhatsApp, you do a certain kind of video. If you want to put it on Twitter, I mean, this is basic knowledge. I don't think I'm saying anything unusual. But the Congress Party has to understand that it just cannot have different kinds of messaging even within that one message of Bharat Jodo. Let us have some idea of what one thing that stays the same. And the one thing that's staying the same is Rahul, but it has to be more than that. We cannot buy Rahul again. We've tried him out. Okay, we've not tried him out, but at least we've tried to, we've tried a Congress with Rahul as
Tried to try him.
We need a little more. We need something more, I think.
Rahul,
One second. One second. The only point I would say, if this is a great exercise to relaunch Rahul and establish those questions and whether he is serious, whether he has got stamina, whether he has got staying power and all, I think it's a bloody expensive way to do it. Dilip, they would have taken somebody like Dilip, etc. They would have told much simpler way than to run 3,500 kilometers, spending crores of rupees to establish those 3 points. I think it's a bit inefficient from a marketing standpoint.
But the other side does it also, Sandeep. So I kind of disagree on it. It is working in that sense. He is getting the crowds. We don't know who's spending what to spend is, but at least there is a crowd happening, and at least he's meeting people, which is what was not happening.
No, but if you're spending so much, what is the ROI you're getting? It is not just those 3 points. My leader is Mahan.
But Priya, I think it's a nice, incredible India campaign. The BJP should actually adopt it. It actually tells you how wonderful this country is. From this wonderful BTS army in Kerala to to some of the leaders in Madhya Pradesh. I mean, there's a very nice vibe. It's a great advertisement for the country. Maybe they can adopt it.
And Kaveri answered my question. It's a great advertisement for the country. A country that was united, diverse, happy, prosperous when the Congress was in power. And
happy and diverse and
I don't know about the happiness. Happiness quotient, we're definitely coming down, and about the diversity, we know that there's trying to implement one man and his thoughts on everything, or 1.5 men and their thoughts on everything. So I think that the fact that Kaveri said a happy, diverse country is what Bharat Jodo is. That this is a happy, diverse country, and will protect this happiness and this diversity. I think the one very important point is we try to make this too personal about RG or Rahul Gandhi. I think it's Rahul Gandhi is of course the center of it, but I think there is more to it. The most common man
I think
today
the maximum it is about Rahul and the whole idea. Let's not fool ourselves. It is about promoting and.
I wish you would have allowed me to complete, but it is about Rahul. I'm not denying it, but if you allow me
I am totally out.
If you allow me that one line.
Side players.
I am not totally out. So thank you. We're going to end now because otherwise we'll have to cut you all. Then I'll get more complaints. Thank you so much.
For more such videos, subscribe to the NewsX YouTube channel, hit the bell icon.